Ole Miss. And, Coach, we appreciate your time this afternoon. An atypical weekend for you and your team over your 2 decades at Ole Miss. You guys are on the wrong end of a sweep. What was the message to your team after the game on Sunday after a weekend like this?
Well, obviously it's disappointing, to lose and, to get swept. It's just, it's a crushing feeling at the end. And really the message is that this is this league. Everybody wanted to play in it. Everybody wanted to be a part of it. I think the biggest disappointment is that we didn't play well. It was the biggest weekend, obviously, of the season. A top 2-3 team in the country coming to your place. The stadium sold out all 3 games, and we just played poorly. We played a little bit better yesterday, but we really just didn't give ourselves any opportunity. And that was it. If you're going to have success in our league, I've always said it. If you don't play well in our league, you lose. It doesn't matter who you're playing, but certainly when you play a team like Tennessee, you have to play better than that.
I had somebody send me a text on Friday night and said Chase Burns will be playing Major League Baseball in 5 years. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I know he'll be playing Major League Baseball. I don't know if 5 years is the right number, but I think I'm pretty certain with the Major League deal.
When you've got a guy, an opponent that's dealing the way he was, what kind of, if any, in-game adjustments can you make with your hitters when they see stuff like this? I know you have an experienced lineup, but for the first time this season, you had a power arm like that. Is there anything that can be done during the course of those 7 innings that he pitched to adjust the kind of stuff that he was throwing to your guys?
Well, what makes Burns, super special is not just the velocity, but 2 other things that, probably don't get as noticed as much as one. He's got a really outstanding breaking ball slider that's really firm in the upper 80s, and it's hard to pick up out of hand. So you're trying to compete with a mid-90s fastball, which is hard enough. And then just when you think you're ready to get to it, he spins that slider in there in the upper 80s. And then the other thing is that he just didn't put himself in any bad counts. And he's ahead. He's strike one just about every hitter. And so it just makes life really difficult. The thing that I think disappointed us throughout the weekend, and one of the things we do really well, is we usually can catch up to the fastball. Like, you're going to have to throw another pitch into the strike zone. And we just continued throughout the weekend to continue to get beat by the fastball.
You were really complimentary of Derek Diamond's outing on Sunday. Definitely gave your team a chance to win. With Gaddis and Doherty on Friday and Saturday not really going deep into the game, is there, coming into this weekend against Kentucky, are you planning on making any adjustments there with your rotation, or are you sticking with what you went into the Tennessee series with?
No, we haven't decided exactly what we're going to do this week. In the middle of the week, we'll go with Washburn tomorrow, and we'll go with McDaniel on Wednesday, against Memphis. And, trying to, look at the Kentucky stuff we haven't. I mean, I barely looked at the North Alabama stuff, really going, still today going through the weekend and, trying to, see what corrections we can make offensively and, of course, on the mound. But, we certainly have to pitch better, and again, I think we got to keep in mind, what happened, where we can get better, what part is, getting beaten up and not feeling good, and what part are, some things we can correct. And, some of that is, I think trying to just get off to a better start. That's another factor that happened in the first 2 games is we just gave ourselves no opportunity. And when you got guys that are on the other side throwing that well, there's no pressure on them. And again, not taking anything away from a very good Tennessee team, but we just gave ourselves no shot, and we got to put some zeros up early. We got to get deeper into the game and give our offense a chance to get going. And we just didn't do that. So we have to be better on the mound.
Visiting with Mike Bianco, head baseball coach at Ole Miss. Coach, a couple of quotes from a pair of your players made their rounds Friday talking about possibly the team being a little flat or didn't match Tennessee's energy. Was that an observation that you shared with them?
Maybe in anger or disappointment. but I think one of the things that people have to be careful of, and this is now after the weekend, we just at the end of the day we got our butts beat. I mean that's by a team that's playing better than we are right now, and we looked overmatched, and they've made a lot of people look overmatched this year. But one of the things I've learned is when you don't play well, and especially when you don't hit, they pitch that well. It's easy to look like you didn't play with energy. It's easy to look like you didn't play with focus. I'd like to compete, from pitch to pitch a little bit better, and feel that we, could have given ourselves a little better opportunity on both sides of the ball. But at the end of the day, we just got beat. And I mean, you can try to, is it focus? Is it energy? Is it, at the end of the day, it just comes to, we have to play better baseball.
So you've got a couple of midweek games this week, and then Kentucky. I was talking to an Ole Miss fan, a fan of yours, and said, we're lucky because we get a break with Kentucky this weekend. Not so much anymore, is it?
No, and it's what I said earlier, and I've said that since I've been in the league, and I've been in the league a long time. Be careful what you wish for. Everybody tries to look at the schedule and, hey, we don't play this team, or we play this team. It's better not to pick the teams, because at the end of the day, everybody's good enough in the SEC to beat everybody. That's why it's the number one baseball conference in the country. We're not top loaded where there's a lot of a handful of teams at the top, and at the bottom, the teams are much weaker. Even the teams at the bottom at the very end of the year, they're all teams that could succeed in postseason play. And I think you got to be careful of that. At the end of the day, you have to play better than the other team in our league, or you lose. Everybody's good enough to beat everybody, and so it doesn't matter if you're playing Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, LSU. At the end of the day, everybody's good enough to beat everybody. You look at Kentucky this past weekend, and won 2 out of 3 from Georgia, after getting swept from Arkansas, and Georgia was a top 25 team. So at the end of the day, we have to worry about ourselves and just play well.
I have to ask, you got McCants back this weekend, so assuming that he's healthy and feeling good, what about a couple other guys that have missed some significant time? Do you have any injury updates there with those two?
Well, Calvin Harris was able to get in the game on, I believe, a Friday night. I think he got in about either Friday or Saturday. I'm sorry about So Calvin's I don't know if 100% is the right term, but able to play and feels good, swinging, and took some batting practices at full speed on Thursday and Friday, and when he got injured, he was one of our leading hitters, and so that's obviously adds some depth to the catching position, as it's another guy. Not just a left-handed bat off the bench, but also a guy that could DH, could run out at first base or left field for us. As far as Kevin Graham, he's still about 8 days away from going back to the doctor to hopefully find out where we are as when he can play again. That's the 4-week mark from the surgery. So I think beyond that, I think I think everybody else is pretty good.
And last thing for you, Coach, there seems to be some kind of outside, like higher weather power, something that just does not want you to play Memphis this year.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And 3 out of the last 4 weeks trying to play them, and we'll see. I'll talk to Coach Schoenrock probably a little bit tomorrow, but they play like we do, and some bad weather getting here on Wednesday, but we'll have to wait to make that decision. But you're exactly right.
We appreciate your time this afternoon, as always. Good luck this week. Hopefully 5 games, possibly just 4 games if the weather cooperates. But no doubt an important, as they all are, an important weekend with your team coming up this weekend. Thank you, Coach.
All right. I appreciate it, Michael. Thank you.
That was Mike Bianco.